Okay, let's take it from the top. So you want to port a song, who doesn't? But unfortunately there are many reasons why it's not as easy as just copying, let's say, greenhillzone.bin to Sonic 3. The first, and I guess the most immediate problem, is that the song is just in a different format. You see, SNPS songs were originally code, and when that code was built, it became something that only works for that particular game, that particular driver, and so on. So what we have to do is turn the bin file back to code. Then it will mostly work with other games and other drivers. Unfortunately, there is more work than that's required. But yeah, so to turn the song back to code and then turn the code into a bin file when you build the game, we'll be using Flamewing's SNPS to ASM tool. Now don't get confused, there are 3 SNPS to ASMs, one by Sonosu, one by Flamewing, and one by Green Snake or Natsuki or Aurora Fields. They're just aliases. So, Sonosu's is an older version of Flamewing's, and Aurora Fields is a separate project entirely. It's not compatible with the other two. So, don't use Sonosu's, use Flamewing's or Aurora Fields, but they are incompatible with one another, so proceed at your own risk. So, another issue is missing instruments. There are 3 types of instruments that a song can use. Only one of them comes with the song. The other 2 are part of the sound driver. So if you port a song that relies on instruments that aren't present in the game you're porting to, you're going to get a build error when you try and build the ROM. So you'll have to either port them or just remove the dependency on them. Another issue is the missing coordination flags. I don't know why we call them that. They're just commands. They handle things like looping, volume control, and in some games they handle playing voice clips, though Sonic never does it. Another issue is that different sound drivers handle edge cases differently. So a good example is Sky's Sanctuary Zone from Sonic & Knuckles. If you put that in Sonic 1 or 2, during the opening, certain notes either will or will not play when they shouldn't. And that's just because they invoke a behaviour that they probably shouldn't. Now, a solution to that is to either edit the music data to not invoke this quirky behaviour, or you just edit the sound driver to perform certain behaviour depending on the song that's playing. Another difference includes different drivers handling FM instruments differently sometimes. An example is, I think, Death Egg Zone Act 2 from Sonic & Knuckles. That has one instrument that sounds like static in Sonic 1 and 2, but it sounds like an actual instrument in Sonic 3 and Knuckles. It's pretty weird. So, as I covered in the last video, the easy way to port a song is to specifically choose songs which don't put up a fight. Songs that rely on instruments that are already in the game you're porting to, that doesn't rely on any quirky behaviour and so on. You still have to turn them to assembly. You still have to turn them to code, because they just won't work in the format they're in, but otherwise they work just fine. Examples are putting a Sonic 1 song in Sonic 2. To an extent, the same applies to porting songs between Sonic 3, Sonic & Knuckles, and Sonic 3D Blast. However, I'm pretty sure those 3 games have different DAC instruments. They share some, but some of them are also different between them, so you might have to fiddle around with that as well. Now, if you really still want to move on and port a song that isn't the easiest in the world to do, you can hodgepodge it. You can take a song that relies on instruments or coordination flags that aren't there, and you can just get rid of them or replace them with good substitutes. This will produce a song that sounds different, but it is a solution people used for many years. Now, even with coordination flags, I can't imagine you'll often be able to find a replacement flag, but you can just remove it. This might be okay, depending on the flag, the command that is being removed. Sometimes it might make something just a little louder than usual, or just sound different in general, or it can make the song crash the game or something. Yeah, it's up in the air. Now, the hardcore approach is to, no sound quality left behind, and port the missing PSG and DAC instruments, port any missing coordination flags, and correct the driver to handle any quirky behaviour that might sound different between drivers. That's what we're doing today. We're going to port a song from Sonic 3D Blast to Sonic 1. Why those two in particular? Well, because Sonic 1 has the most minimalist sound driver, if you ask me. It only has, I think 3 different drums, a very small selection of PSG instruments, and its songs in general are rather short and small. Sonic 3D Blast, on the other hand, has a small library of PSG envelopes, instruments, a huge collection of DAC instruments, and really big, really long songs. So we're going to push Sonic 1's driver to its limit by putting these late game songs into it. Now I'm going to switch over to the desktop and we can get started. Okay, here we are. So, to start with, we're going to grab some disassemblies. Well, a disassembly. And then we're going to grab the flame driver. So hopefully you can read these URLs. Sonic Retro's Sonic 1 disassembly and Flame Wings flame driver. Now, don't get confused. We're not porting or adding the flame driver to Sonic 1. I may cover that in another video, but I don't know. So, I need to advise you right now, if we're using Flame Wings SMPS to ASM, we cannot use the generic Sonic 1 disassembly on GitHub. We have to use this version. It's a little complex to explain, but basically, SMPS to ASM just isn't compatible with the assembler that turns the game from code to a ROM. The AS one uses a different one that has more features, let's say, more features and more bugs, unfortunately, but it's what we need for SMPS to ASM. So while we're at it, we're also just going to download the, again, just get the generic one this time, generic flame driver. And let's just open them both up and extract them to the desktop. Hopefully you already know what a disassembly is and how to use it. If not, then, well, if you're lucky, I may have uploaded a video on it by the time you're watching this video. Right, and here we go. So, yeah, here's a disassembly. This one's unique because it has an AS folder. And, yeah, just run the build script. If you're on Linux, use the Python script, and I think it supports Mac too. So if you do that, you'll get a ROM. There you go, it's authentic, it's accurate, it works. Awesome. So our first step, we're going to just put SMPS to ASM into Sonic 1 and have it build, have the ROM still work. Now, you might wonder why we downloaded Flame Driver. It's because Flame Driver has SMPS to ASM in it. This seems to be where you get it. Like, it doesn't have its own GitHub repo, don't know why. It also comes with a collection of songs which have already been turned into code. Now, this is where things get a little confusing. There are 2 SMPS to ASM tools, and they're both called SMPS to ASM. This one's a misnomer. This one, it's easier to call it ASM to SMPS. It's what turns ASM songs back to binary. There's another tool that actually turns a .bin file to a .asm file, but we're not going to use that. It's complicated to use. I don't think you can just download an exe off the internet. You have to build it from source code. It's a pain in the ass. You have to use command line, and yeah, so let's just ignore that and use a pre-converted song. So we're going to want this file right here, and we're going to put it in Sonic 1. We're also going to link it into the game. So right up here, just going to include the file. Now, unfortunately, it's not that easy. We also have to define some variables. So take a peek inside SMPS to ASM, we'll be able to find them. Now, this isn't really documented anywhere. I don't think there are any, like, installation instructions for SMPS to ASM. Like, it has a thread on Sonic Retro, but it doesn't come with installation instructions. I kind of just had to figure this out myself a few years ago. And it's changed since then. Like, these didn't used to be required. I don't know where they came from, but they're required now. So, this right here is the version of the sound driver you're porting songs to. Because we're editing Sonic 1, we use Sonic 1's sound driver. 1 means Sonic 1, 2 means Sonic 2, 3 means Sonic 3, 4 means Sonic & Knuckles, and 5 means Sonic 3D Blast. I think 6 means Flame Driver, I'm not sure. So yeah, we're going to set it to 1. Now these define which DAC samples are available. There isn't an option for Sonic 1, which is really weird. We have to use Sonic 2. If you're porting a Sonic 2 song to Sonic 1, sorry, this can cause some issues. Because you're going to trick SMPS to ASM into actually thinking that you have Sonic 2's DACs when you don't. You're editing Sonic 1. You only have Sonic 1's DAC samples. Sorry, it's just an issue with SMPS to ASM. So for now, we're just going to do this. Because Sonic 2 has Sonic 1 samples, we're going to just say that we have Sonic 2 samples. And that should be it. So if we just save and then build, the ROM should build with no errors. Let's see. And there we go. So if you were using the vanilla Sonic 1 disassembly, you'd get build errors because it cannot handle this file. But yeah, now we have the file working, it just doesn't do anything. In the last video, I may have made a bit of a weird mistake. It wasn't quite a mistake, it was just overkill. I ended up converting the game's existing music to ASM. Now in Sonic 2's case, you don't really have to do it, because either the songs are compressed or because the disassembly just turns them back to code enough that they'll work even if you move them around and add new songs. This same applies to Sonic 1. These don't need turning back or turning into code unless you move around the order of PSG instruments or DAC instruments. Because unless they're assembly, unless they're code, these files will adapt to the new order and they will play the wrong instruments. But yeah, if you wanted to do that, screw it. For thoroughness' sake, we'll do it real quick. So, as you can see, you can directly map the files yourself, as you can see. Now, I'll tell you real quick, the only difference is like bug fixes. The songs actually they won't sound different unless a bug makes them sound different. We're just going to use the originals. I mean, yeah, don't worry about it. And as you can see, they have the same names unlike Sonic 2, where they all got renamed for some reason, so converting the whole game to use ASM music is much easier than in Sonic 1, because you just come here and change the binclude to include and the .bin to .asm. Do that for every song. I'll get back to you when I'm done. Okay, that's done. Now, you can also convert the sound effects. It's much of the same. You come to Flame Driver, and oh look, sound effects. It's more of the same. I won't be bothering. We're not porting sound effects. Porting sound effects is mostly the same as porting music. But yeah, we're just not going to go bother with that today. So, the songs have been converted. And let's build the ROM. Hopefully there are no errors and a ROM is produced. That it is. Let's quickly check that it runs and sounds proper. Hopefully that's not too loud. Right, sorry about that. I realised I turned down the volume, but yeah, there you go. So that works. Now, yeah, now that we've converted the game so the vanilla music is assembly, we can port a song from another game. But right before we get to that, let's introduce you to what an SMPS file actually looks like. So here we go. You have a header, you just have note, data, and FM instruments. Now, you can see right here, these are the DAC instruments. They're just names in a script. Likewise, PSG instruments work the same way. So if we come, let's say, actually, does this song even use it? Yeah. Let's just found one real quick. Oh. Alright, let's try a different song. Surely Green Hill Zone has PSG instruments. Here we go. So here's a PSG instrument, F-tone 05, F-tone 01, F-tone 03. So if you're porting a song and it's missing an instrument, it will complain about something like this being underfanned. But of course, I don't have to tell you that, I can just show you it. So, let's grab a song from Sonic 3D Blast. Ooh, which one, which one? I like Volcano Valley. Let's try Volcano Valley 2. I think that's the one I like. So, just put it in, grab its file name, and replace... Well, we could replace Marble Zone, it would be appropriate. So, let's find Marble Zone. Bye-bye Marble Zone. And unfortunately, unlike in the last video, we cannot just build it and have it work. As you can see, there is no ROM, and rather we have an error log that's been populated with a lot of errors. A lot of errors. So, we're missing a stone apparently. Nah, that's just wonky capitalization. To tell you the truth, I have no clue what F-tone and S-tone refer to. I mean, maybe it refers to first tone, as in the first collection of tones in the Sonic series, and this is second tone, referring to the second collection of PSG envelopes. I don't know. But yeah, what it's saying right here is S-tone 11 is missing, S-tone 17 is missing, and so on. So, I mean, that's unfortunate, but nothing that can't be worked around. So yeah, we could be... Let's go over the quick and lazy way, right? Let's just go and replace every S-tone with an F-tone. Now, that is a bit of an issue because I don't think there are 17 F-tones, so we can't just change S-tone 17 to F-tone 17 because Sonic 1 doesn't have 17 PSG instruments. But, well, we can replace it with a generic square wave, so you can go through the code and just replace... Actually, no, let's just be normal about it. Let's see. F-tone 00. So we're replacing every unique PSG instrument with a generic square wave, I think. So that's 11, and now we're going to do 17. Hopefully this will give us fewer build errors. If not, I'm doing something horribly wrong. So, am I doing something wrong? I'm an idiot, sorry. I made it in the wrong file. Jeez. Okay. Let's do that properly this time. Replace tone 17, tone 11, save, and build. Oh, hang on, right. Yeah, I think this is just another quirk of SMPS to ASM. Yeah, rather than having a specific name, you're just meant to say it's the number 0. Now, I don't know, weird syntax. So what do we get this time? Alright, we need to replace 12 and OF. This is, of course, hexadecimal numerics, so, you know, you count to 10, then it's A, B, C, D, E, F, and then, no, sorry, it's 9, then A, B, C, D, E, F, and 10. Yeah, if you're new to this, yeah, hexadecimal is a weird thing to learn, but it's a mainstay. You'll have to learn it, unfortunately. Okay, here we go. And that's the PSG errors gone. Now we just have to worry about all of the DAC errors. So, this might seem familiar to you. It's missing the D-Kick S3 instrument. Now, to give you a quick breakdown, D, I think, refers to DAC, the type of instrument that it is. kick is the name of the instrument, of course. It's the kick drum. And this is just the Sonic 3 version. Sonic 3 onwards uses different drums to Sonic 1 and 2. So SMPS2ASM gives it a unique name. I said this seems familiar because Sonic 1 has a kick too, and it's called D-Kick. So why not? Oops, sorry. So why not just replace them? Yeah, that can work fine. Replace D-Kick S3 with D-Kick. And you now have way fewer errors. But of course that's not the only DAC sample that the game uses. It also uses the snare, which again is in Sonic 1. So replace D-Snare with D-Snare. However, that's still not good enough. Let me just get this out of the way real quick. Here we go. D Electric High Tom. Now Sonic 1 doesn't have any toms, but it does have timpanis. Now the timpani is unique because like the kick and the snare always sound the same, but the tom and the timpani play at different keys, I suppose is the proper term for it. So you can play it, there's like a timpani that's high pitched, a timpani that's low pitched. And yeah, so we can replace these with timpanis. So SMPS2ASM keeps a list of the various drums in the game. So right here you can see the drums from Sonic 1. Oh, hang on, a tick. Huh. No, it's just... Hold on a tick, I want to double check something. Okay, sorry, I'm an idiot. Apparently, these things are actually necessary. They're only used by SMPS2ASM when Sonic Driver version is greater than 2. Yeah, sorry about that. So, don't worry about it, it's fine. You don't have to worry if you're porting a song from Sonic 2, because SMPS2ASM actually does know that, yeah, Sonic 1 only has Sonic 1's drums. By setting this to 1, you are telling SMPS2ASM that you don't have Sonic 2's drums. So you will get these errors, these proper errors, if you try and port a Sonic 2 song, because it knows it doesn't have these drums. Alright, so, yeah, sorry about that. Let's just get back to what we were doing. So as you can see, there's a list. These are the drums from Sonic 1. The first one is represented by the number 81, then 82, 83, 88 for some reason, 89, 8A, 8 big. And as you can see, the timpani, there's a generic timpani, there's a high, a mid, a low, and a very low. So if we come back to Volcano Valley, you can see we have a high tom, a mid tom, a low tom. But do we have a very low tom? Ah, floor tom. I'm going to assume that's a very low tom. Oh, and a crash cymbal. Huh. But yeah, we're just going to replace these toms with timpanis. So, just pop our heads back in here, find a sufficient replacement. High timpani. Kind of strange how this one says high with a GH, but this one says high with no GH. Not sure what's going on there, but... Now again, this is the half-baked solution. This song will use different instruments. The PSG will especially sound different because we're replacing every PSG instrument with one that is pretty much guaranteed to not sound anything like the original. But, you know, if porting PSGs and DACs is beyond your ability, this is the best we can, or best you can do. So, luckily for us, it appears we haven't bumped into any missing coordination flags, which is a bit odd to me because I really thought Volcano Valley was a song that had missing coordination flags. But hey, don't worry. Well, if you really want to know how to port a coordination flag, I will find a song that doesn't have a certain coordination flag and I will walk you through porting it. Okay, so the last one here is the crash cymbal. Sonic 1 does not have a cymbal. So if you cannot find a supplement, replace it with a rest. It is a note that doesn't make any sound, it doesn't do anything. So you can replace it willy-nilly, and it should hopefully work fine. So let's have a look at that build error, if there is one. Okay, what did we get? Build errors. Ah, okay, we have more snares. Oh, and more cymbals. Alright, so we have a tight snare and a loose snare. I'm not a drummer, I have no clue what that means. So, boy. What in the hell is this? I didn't know Sonic 3D had so many snares. Okay, so let's just replace them all with a regular snare. I'm sorry if I have any musicians in the audience and I'm just butchering a well done drum track. Sorry, I don't know what a loose snare is. Okay. Does it work now? Apparently not. Oh, sorry. How do I keep forgetting you? Be one with your snare brethren. Are we there yet? Okay, well we have a ROM. So let's check it out. How does it sound? Ah, shoot. Ah, damn it! I failed to type in the level select. Now I have to... oh dear. I started the game, didn't I? Right. I swear I'm good at this. Okay. Up, down, left, right. Oh dear. Up, down, 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 up. Oh man. I swear, if this was playing in Japanese mode, what the heck's going on here? Of course it's playing in the Japanese region. Give me the flipping American version, damn. Ugh. I really should have just edited the game to just start up in Marble Zone or something. Save us all the effort. Alright. Up, down, left, right. Jeez. Right, here we go. How does it sound? Will it sound good? Will it sound bad? Yeah, that sounds pretty bad. Don't mind the background noise of just moving junk around. But yeah, I probably shouldn't have to explain. This is a pretty amateur conversion. I mean, the instruments are delayed for some reason. The drums are of course wrong, and the PS3 sounds absolutely awful. Yeah, that's pretty bad. Alright, so, you know, if you just want a quick and dirty port, this might be good enough for you. I can assure you, not every song has that weird note delaying bug. It's just a problem unique to Volcano Valley. So I thought it would make a very nice demonstration of the quirkiness you may encounter when porting a song. Again, it's not that common. You port a Sonic 2 song to Sonic 1, you're not going to have this problem. You port most Sonic 3 songs, Sonic and Knuckles songs, whatever, you're not going to have this issue. If anything... yeah, real quick, I'm just gonna... let's port Green Grove 2. Just to show you that that's a worst case scenario, okay? Not... you'd have to worry about, oh no, all my music's gonna sound awful. Let's place Green Hills over Green Grove. This should hopefully be more of the same unless we encounter a missing coordination flag. Which hopefully we won't. I don't recall Green Grove being a very exotic song when it came to coordination flag usage. Ah, yeah, you might notice some build warnings there. We'll get to those in a bit. Alright, we have a bunch of S-tones and a couple of snares and kicks. Doesn't look too bad. Alright, so... just make this quick. And I'm just going to use some regular expression to make the S-tone stuff go by a bit quicker. If you don't know regular expression, well, don't worry about it. I do recommend learning it though. It's a very nice way to speed up number, anything, text replacement. And all 51, all done with one replace operation. Fantastic. Okay, so let's double check those DACs. Yeah, look at all these FM instruments. I swear, Sonic 1 doesn't use this many in a single song. Aha, we have more toms, huh? Fan, alright. So this is going to be V-low timpani. I think I got them all. Alright, let's give this a whirl. Oh, good. That was nice. I was worried I was going to have to just like pause and go do it off in the corner and then come back to you when I was done, but okay. How does this sound? Well, the PSG sounds awful, but yeah, this is much more passable than Volcano Valley. Yeah, you can even hear the timpanis just there. But yeah, so, you know, who would have thought porting a song from Sonic 3D to Sonic 1 would be so easy? Now, let's give a quick suggestion for improvement. Like, obviously the PSGs are awful. What can we do about that? Now, we could port them, or we can substitute them like we have with the drums. The trouble is, substitution is a bit awkward. I know you could, if you knew how, edit the game to just let you listen to, like, how to put it? You could compare them by listening to them. Listen to every PSG that the song uses and listen to every PSG in Sonic 1 and just replace them with compatible ones. I'm lazy and I don't know how to do that, so we're just going to compare by looking at their data. So for this, we're unfortunately going to need a hex editor because for some reason the Sonic 1 disassembly keeps the flipping instruments as bin files. What the hell? Like, look at this. Look at this. You can look at the FM instrument. Unless you're some kind of genius, you probably won't know what it sounds like or even how it works just by looking at it. But it's better than having a bin file. At least you can look at it, you know? PSGs are a lot simpler. So yeah, we're going to need a hex editor. I think I'm going to use HXD. So I'm just going to install that real quick, because I don't think it's on this computer, and I'll get back to you. Okay, so I've installed HXD. It's been a while since I've used it. I'm more of a Linux user these days, and I don't think HXD is on Linux, but I'd argue HXD is my favourite hex editor. So, just drag and drop, and here you go. So as you can see, we have numbers, and in HXD we do indeed have numbers. So you can see the basic shape, right? It starts at 0, goes up, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you have this little command at the end. And yeah. So, I believe Sonic 3D uses the same PSGs as Sonic & Knuckles. So, I guess we're going to have to leap on over to the Sonic & Knuckles disassembly real quick to get a look at its PSGs. Now, this is very laborious, I'll warn you now. Like, visually comparing PSGs, it's a bit of a pain in the ass. So, yeah, it may be less effort to just port them, you know, so at least you don't have to look at the flipping things. So here we go. Once again, it's in number form, and you can see some similarity. Like, this one may start at 2, 1, but it also goes up from 0 to 2 to 3 to 4. Maybe you can find one that's even more accurate, like this one. 0, 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 2, 2, 3, 4, 4, 5, and so on. Now, ignore the number at the end being different. In Sonic 3 and Knuckles and 3D, 81 is the same as Sonic 1's 80, I believe. So don't worry about that. Though if there's something like this, be worried, they're different. But yeah, this looks like a good replacement. And this is 9, apparently. Now, actually, I'm not convinced. I'm pretty sure these are off by 1. I'm pretty sure this is actually 1. This is 2, 3. That would make this A. But, yeah. So, I don't really want to go through all this effort myself. Like, visually comparing every PSG. I mean, not to mention we have to do this in reverse. So, we have to compare this to this, every PSG in Sonic 1. But, I mean, we can do a quick example, I suppose. Let's go back to Green Grove. Oh, dearie me. Don't make me undo all of it. Ah, jeez. Alright, let's just do S-tone 02. So, I think... actually, let's just double check to be sure. Let's just check SMPS to ASM. As you can see, this goes all the way up to 27. Ignore these. This goes all the way up to 27. And if we look in the sound driver, it only goes up to 26. So I was right, it's off by 1. So Green Grove uses 02. 02 is actually 01. So it uses this. Which is just, yeah. And it does 83, whatever that is. This one's mostly similar, but it uses 80. I'm going to just go away real quick and double check what the difference between 83 and 81 is. Those are commands. They aren't part of the instrument data itself, necessarily. Yeah, okay, looking into it. Yeah, 83 is very different from 81. Like, this stuff's complicated, okay? Right, looky here. In Sonic 1, you only have 80. What 80 does, it plays the last one over and over again, so this 10 goes on infinitely. 81 in Sonic & Knuckles does the same thing, so this 6 will go on infinitely. But 83 is the equivalent of doing 81, but the one before it is 0, so it silences the note. So, yeah, Sonic 1 doesn't have that. So, yeah. There isn't really an equivalent to this, unless we added a custom one. So, yeah, we're actually kind of out of luck. So we can't find an equivalent to this, I think, which is unfortunate. But, yeah, well, that's what porting's for. But let's just say we did find one that wasn't really picky. Like, how about 03? 03 uses 81. Alright, this one's fine. So, you can map 03 to 01. And it will work, because they're mostly similar. It'll sound mostly okay. So just do that for every song. Replace, you know, this with this, and it will be a faithful conversion. I'm not going to do that for this whole song because, frankly, I think porting the PSG instruments is actually easier. So, I believe I've now covered how to port a song the cheap way. I want to avoid saying lazy, because, I mean, you do you, but, yeah. So now we're going to completely undo all of our little hacks and modifications, and rather than edit the song to suit the game, we're going to edit the game to suit the song. And yeah, why not start with these PSG envelopes, huh? They've been causing us problems. So, that does mean I have to reconvert the flipping DACs again. Great. I'll get back to you when I've converted the DACs back to Sonic 1 but left the PSGs intact. Okay, I think I've done that now. The only errors appear to be for the PSG instruments. So yeah. So I'll be nice and say the PSGs are much easier to port than DACs. So, you know, if substituting PSGs is too annoying like it is for me, don't worry about porting them. It's pretty easy. For the most part, you will be editing some code in this particular case, but other than that, it's fine. So, let us start with, what was it, 02? Yeah, 02. Okay. So, here's 02. As you can see, it's just numbers. So let's just copy it, okay? Copy it, then go into Sonic 1's driver, and find where it keeps its own PSGs. Now, we could put those numbers in a hex editor and save it as a bin file and bin-clude it like the others, but nah, I'm not going to do that. I disagree with them being in files because they're easier to read and edit when they're just numbers, you know? So, yeah, we're going to define... Let's give it a fancy name. S3D, really it's just S3. S3 PSG 02 DC.B. Yeah. Now, I should give you a quick history lesson real quick. This is 68K assembly. This is Z80 assembly. They're different. Right, this is Z80 code. This is 68K code. Sonic 1 uses a 68K sound driver. Sonic 3 uses a Z80 sound driver. They run on different CPUs. They're written in different languages. How is this relevant? They denote hexadecimal differently. Z80 puts a H at the end. 68K puts a dollar sign at the beginning. So remember to convert them. Now, this ain't gonna work because, like I said, Sonic 1 only has 80. Yeah, it has numbers below 80. Those are actual sound data. Anything above 80 is a command. And the only command Sonic 1 has is 80. The equivalent to the 80 command in Sonic 3 is 81. This isn't 81, this is 83. So again, what 81 and 80, or 80 in this game do, is they repeat the last number infinitely. Now obviously we can't just do this infinitely, but we don't have to. Sonic 1 does it anyway with 80. But that's not what 83 is. 83 stops the sound. It mutes it. This is the equivalent of this, or this in Sonic 3. This in Sonic 1. Play nothing and then repeat it forever, and it's the same as 83. You can see this if you like check the code and figure out how it works, and yeah, it silences the thing. So here we go. Here is our own port of PSG02. Now, if we really wanted to, we could actually add the code for 83. But why bother, you know? Like, you can just emulate it, and it only costs a single byte. So, yeah, I think this is fine. Should be okay. So now, we've defined it, but it's just floating around. Nothing uses this thing yet. To make the game use it, we have to add it to this list. So, there we go. But that's still not good enough. The driver knows that there's an envelope right here, and this is its name, but SMPS2ASM doesn't. So, we're going to have to edit SMPS2ASM, and I am sorry. Like, no offense to Flamewing, it's just this thing's very overwhelming and complex. And so if you're confused by this, don't worry, we all are. It's unavoidable, I suppose. So what we're going to do is, this is Sonic 1, this is Sonic 2, this is everything else, and this is Flame Driver, which is weird because I thought 5 was Sonic 3D. So what we're going to do is we're going to take S-Tone02 from Sonic 3, and we're going to put it at the end of Sonic 1. Notice that this mirrors this table. So all of the Sonic 1 ones, then the Sonic 3 one. You have to keep the same order. Okay? Now keep in mind there is a limit. I'm pretty sure you can't just keep doing it on one line infinitely. Eventually you'll get a build error, and you'll have to start a new line. Now, for argument's sake, let's just say we have to start a new line. Type enum, put in the name, but instead of just doing this, where you just put a comma and then you do another one, you have to do equals the last one of the last line plus 1, then you can start adding new ones. It's complex, I'm sorry, there's not like a handbook I can just point you to, I have to explain this, but this is how you do it, okay? So, theoretically, this is that PSG ported. Unless I'm forgetting something, it has been a while, but there we go. No errors about S-Tone02. Now we just got to do 3. So, let's grab 3, which, of course, is actually 2. So let's just take this, and, well, the process repeats. Come down here, put it in. dB in Z80 is dc.b in 68K. Yeah, I told you this was an involved process, you know, just to be clear. So, and remember, 81 is just 80 in Sonic 1. Don't worry about it. Turn it to proper hexadecimal, and there you go. And then we just put it in the table, and then we add it to this list. Again, it has to reflect the order. Okay. Build. Does it work yet? Of course not. There's like 12 others, but Ah, sorry. Okay, I'm glad I haven't cut this out. So, whenever you're playing with bytes, be very careful. Whenever you're playing with bytes, to avoid errors like that, even, it's hard to explain, I'm sorry, but it's complicated. In the ROM, you cannot have code start on an odd address. When you build code, it becomes numbers, it becomes bytes. You can't have code start on an odd byte like 0 or 3 or 5. So whenever you're putting in bytes of data, put an even after it. If you're on an odd address, it'll just add a 0. So everything that comes after it is on an even address. Again, sorry, it's complicated low-level stuff, but this is what you're asking for when you're playing with the Mega Drive. Okay, so now I've already shown you. I've shown you how to convert an 83. I've shown you how to convert an 81. Just keep doing this for every single missing PS3. So I'm going to do the rest of these, which looks to be only 2. Oh, no, there's more. And I'll get back to you when I'm done. Oh, by the way, I should probably mention, like, if you just want to future-proof yourself, you probably should just port every single one. That way, any future songs you port, you won't get build errors like these. They'll just work magically. But, yeah, for now I'm just going to port the ones I absolutely have to. It's more of the same. Well, actually, unless, let's double check. If any of these don't use 81 or 83, we might be in trouble. Like this one uses 80. I'm going to double check what 80 is. Ah, okay, 80 is a little unfortunate. What 80 does is it reaches the end, then it goes back to the beginning. I don't think you can emulate that, so... Oh dear, well, I suppose we'll get to that later. Okay, I've ported everything I have to, and maybe one that I don't think I had to. And yeah, you only need one even at the end, I kind of forgot about that. I've added them to SMPS to ASM, and a ROM has been built, so let's check it out. I suppose we'll start with Green Grove. Come on. Now that automatically sounds much better. So the PSG has become some kind of hi-hat. I don't know, I'm not a musician. Hopefully I've put the right ones. I mean, the whole off by one thing really throws me off. While we're at it, let's check out Volcano Valley. Hopefully I remember the level select sheet this time. Yeah, unfortunately we still have weirdly delayed instruments, but that's not the point right now. I think that instrument's a PSG. I mean, it sounds like a square wave, I think. Not really sure. Yeah, wish I had done more of a before and after, but, well, the PSGs should sound perfect. Unless, of course, you get this weird one. I mean, how many of these... Do any others use 80? It's kind of a weird thing to see. It looks to be only the one. No, there's a second one, and there's a third one. Okay, well, let's say you got unlucky, and I'll try to port a song that actually uses one of these PSG instruments. So what does 80 do? Well, if we take a peek at the code, this is the thing that handles the PSG envelopes. As you can see, command 83 does this, command 81 does this, command 80 does this. I don't understand the naming scheme at all. What 81 isn't a rest? I mean, maybe it ain't, I'm not a music guy, but it holds the notes. 80 loops, and 83 ends the note, it silences it. So, we can emulate 83 with 81. But of course, in Sonic 1, 81 is 80. 80 from Sonic 3 doesn't exist in Sonic 1. But all 80 does is it resets it, it loops it. Now, we're going to have to get into the code here, that's for sure. But what A is... let's see if I'm reading this right. Set value, huh? Where the hell is that? Okay, one sec. Whatever. So basically, in this Z80 code, the A register holds the index for some reason. Yeah, holds the index of the note. And, yeah, passes through, comes down to here, and sets the index of the note to 0. Because it gets set to 0. Yeah, this stuff's complicated. Alright, so now we need to go to the equivalent code in Sonic 1 and add in this logic. Now, we could, because 81, or 80 has been replaced with what should be 81, we could replace 81 with 80, but that means whenever you port a PSG envelope, you have to consciously replace and reverse 81 and 80. So, we're going to do this the proper way. We're going to turn 80 back to 81 and put the real 80 back in its place. But first, let's just go through all that code. So, let's find the code that handles PSG envelopes. PSG track. No? Alright, here we go. So, it's down here somewhere. I know that for sure. Alright, here we are. So... man. Probably should have zoomed this in more for you. Oops. Yeah. So I don't know how good you are at translating a Z80 to 68K, but you can draw a direct comparison between this code and this code. So you have a little entry point, and then we get down here and we eventually start comparing. So here we go. As you can see, this should be similar enough for you. So if it's 83, jump. If it's 81, jump or branch. If it's 80, branch. So let's start by making this the proper one. Here we go. This is 81. And at least Sonic 1 gets it right. It is a hold. And now we're going to do 80. So now we've made it so it goes to the proper code when it has to. And now we are going to make our own function. So remember how the Z80 code sets A to 0, then branches to some code and blah blah blah. That's not what this does. Now, SMPS Z80 works differently, and thanks to the 68K having a much neater syntax, we can do it in a more direct way. So all we do is CLR.B the index, and just like that, we set it to 0. We loop back to the beginning. Though, you do need to keep an eye out for the quirks of the behaviour. This returns, this quits this entire... Oh, sorry, this is the wrong place. That return quits this entire function. Sonic 3 doesn't do that, if you pay attention. If we come to reset, it sets it to 0, calls set value, and set value comes straight back into the function we just quit. So, if you want to do this properly, is this called anywhere else? Whatever. Test PSG turn, if it's 0, return. Well, we won't be having that issue. Yeah, so we're going to take this label. And when we loop, we not only set the index to 0, but... come on. Yeah, we go back to the thing and process it again. Because we've done a command. We only did a command. We still need to go back and actually play the next bit of the data. So that's what Z80 does. It sets it to 0, then comes back and does the actual data. So there we go, we've ported flag 80. So now we need to actually convert everything back to it. Let's just get rid of this useless comment while we're here. As you can see, we're at the 1 hour mark, and yeah, this is much more complex than just using SMPS to ASM and having the music work willy-nilly. So now we're going to have to go through and change every 80 to 81. This is fine. Just come here. Maybe don't use regular expression, huh? However, that still leaves the issue of the binary files. So if you weren't using a hex editor before, you are now. So just go in, change it, 81, and do that for every single PSG. Luckily, there aren't too many of them, so don't worry about it, and ignore these backup files. They're just a thing HXD does. Okay, and that's done. They've all been converted and saved. Now, you know, while we're here, if I'm really going to go through all the effort of porting 80 and switching 81 to be actually 81, why not just port 83 while we're at it? That way, future ports of PSG envelopes are just a copy-paste job. Let's look into that real quick. What does it do? Well, it calls the rest track function and otherwise returns. It doesn't loop the value or anything. It doesn't change the index. It also does this, but apparently that's redundant. And if we come here, all this does is mute the track. If the track's actually playing return, then it silences the whole channel, and yeah, this should be easy enough to replicate. Okay, I believe I found the equivalent to that code we were looking at. So yeah, it just checks if it's being overwritten by a sound effect, and then just, yeah, nukes the PSG channel. So if you come here, ZREST track, ignoring this, I don't know why, but Sonic 1 just doesn't do this in the 81. The 81 does this in Sonic 3, but not Sonic 1, so I'm not going to bother doing it for 83 either in Sonic 1. I think it's some kind of SMPS 68K Z80 difference. So checks it's being overwritten by an SFX, and again, nukes the PSG. So this is what we're looking for. So take PSG note off, go back to our note thingy-mahoogy. Actually, we haven't done that yet, have we? Okay, well, just put that in there real quick. So, sod it. Just make our own. We're going to call this, I don't know, silence. Okay, that's interesting. Now, why does it do that? Let me just double check that real quick. Okay, whatever. It's just another one of those things that Z80 does. But, yeah. Another thing Z80 does, but 68K doesn't. So we're just gonna, I guess, ignore it again. So, all we have to do is call PSG note off. I guess a BRA.W is good enough. Anyway, what that does again is it just mutes the PSG. Okay, well, that built. Yeah, it doesn't do that, just does that. Okay, well, if that works, then it works. So, now, when we're porting PSG envelopes, we can just keep the commands. Don't need to change them at all. Yeah, whatever. Okay, so just to test it out, I've gone and just copied every single PSG from Sonic and Knuckles, pasted it in Sonic 1, converted it to 68k syntax. Yeah, there's some errors in there, but I'll correct them in a minute. So as last touch, I'm just copying all of the ones from Sonic 3. I'm going to stick them at the end of Sonic 1. And that should be sufficient. Okay, well I've done some testing and all of the... just copying them all seems to have worked fine, leaving their original flags and everything. I didn't realise I made a bit of a mistake with the silence thing. It's another difference between the drivers. This... how do I put it? Yeah, I don't really know how to put it. It's just, this has to do this, otherwise it might play invalid data. That aside, that should be the PSG's done, but unfortunately, songs are still quite jank, particularly Volcano Valley. Green Grove sounds fine, but that does leave the DACs. However, considering how far into the video we are, I feel like I may have to leave DACs for another video, especially in the case of Sonic 1. The DACs are especially tricky. Well, while I'm here, just before we end it off for today, I did want to highlight these errors or warnings that will show up while you're building the bat file. Now the way I got them to stick around was hold shift, right click, open PowerShell, type in build.bat, run it, and yeah, it'll build the ROM, but you also get to keep the errors or warnings. So these ones are innocuous. I don't know if there's any situation where you're porting a song from another Sonic game and this is actually an issue. It's just complaining about these commands right here. It says, you have to multiply the value by the tempo divider. Now this is great and all, but like that's 4, and if you go up here and look at the tempo, the divider is 1, so you don't have to worry about it. If you ever find a song that emits these errors or these warnings, and the divider is anything but 1, then yeah, you're going to have to manually go through and multiply them yourself. But yeah, it's not a problem. The errors that are a problem are down here. Now, it's basically, remember how I said that between drivers, sometimes the FM instruments sound different? This is that. Some of the FM instruments are actually a bit broken when ported to Sonic 1, because this is just technical jargon. The sound driver is just incompatible with those FM instruments. So in the next part, we're going to have to go through the driver and edit it to actually support these FM instruments, because otherwise they just sound like garbage. I hate this pause button. But yeah, I suppose that's it for this part. We've converted Sonic 1 to SMPS to ASM. We've converted a song the lazy way, and we're halfway through porting the songs the proper way. So we've ported the PSGs. I've shown you how to convert some PSGs, most PSGs, but for the ones that don't want to play a ball, I've also shown how to port the remaining PSG envelope flags. So then in the next part I'll cover these annoying little build errors, in particular FM instrument incompatibility, and I'll also cover porting DACs, and I'll warn you now, porting DACs to Sonic 1 is perhaps way worse than porting them to Sonic 2 or 3, so yeah, we're in for one hell of a ride next time. See you then.